Just about blew my head off. Sam. Now he's got this beautiful 1967 Chevy Impala. We've just finished doing a full engine rebuild and a whole bunch of other parts that we'll get to soon. But firstly, Sam, this has been your childhood dream for a long time, hasn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, always wanted a Chev. 67's been my choice for the Impala, based mainly on the rear lights.
The rear lights, yeah. Those nice,
so
iconic
lights.
rectangular lights.
I've always been into cars, had the Matchbox sets at home and drove them around the house all day, every day. And yeah, raised in a Holden family, but always had a passion for the older cars. Obviously in Australia, the V8s weren't so prevalent back in the older days, so yeah, got into the Chevs, and the 327's just awesome.
It got you?
Yeah, got me.
If I'm correct, it was a one-owner car, wasn't it?
That's right, yeah. So the grandfather owned the car, left it in the will to the grandson down in Tassie. So he inherited the vehicle and then decided that he wanted to move it on. And we touched base with him and did a deal and put it on the boat and brought it over. Just needed, the running gear needed work. It wasn't blowing a heap of smoke, it drove quite well. We drove it up here from Victoria up to Queensland. Loved it.
Big road trip.
Just cruised,
yeah.
But we really just wanted to honour it, you know, one owner, perfect condition, no rust. Wanted to keep it in that original state.
And you wanted a little bit more grunt too, didn't you?
A bit more pep.
Bit more pep, So this 1967 Impala was brought in by Sam because it was a little bit tired. The motor was really not going as hard as it should, and it definitely needs some TLC after sitting around for a while.
The first visit we did steering, brakes, suspension and transmission rebuild, and then on the second visit, which was the one we've only just completed now, it was an engine out and a complete engine rebuild.
But when you pop the bonnet now on this car, it looks like a bog stock 327.
Certainly does.
But in reality it isn't anymore.
No, it's got some aftermarket aluminium heads and they've been painted Chevy orange. It's got tall valve covers, which they're probably the only telltale sign that the engine's not original, because that's to hide the roller rockers. It's had an upgrade to a Holly Carby, but all the air cleaner and the general appearance and everything else remains original.
Sam wants to use this car for weddings and events and things like that, so it doesn't need to be a stupidly fast car.
No, and he wants it just to be reliable, where he can jump in and hit the key and drive and enjoy it. The engine was just tired. It has your normal water leaks of a cast iron engine, a few oil leaks as well. Nothing.
And the cool thing about this car, it's still the matching numbers motor,
Yeah,
which is pretty rare to find these days.
correct. And it's a right-hand drive factory built Chevy, and there are not too many of them around.
The interior, the dash, the paint, it's all immaculate.
Yeah, it's mint. Yeah, from a distance, the car actually looks like it's been pre-painted. You have a glance at the trim, and the trim still looks like new. It's amazing.
Now with the mild work that's been done to the motor, it's amazing what a set of alloy heads and a small Rico will do. Even to a small 327, it actually has some go. It's just enough.
It is.
It's just enough. It's definitely not going to smoke the tires off the lights though, is it?
No.
The steering's really nice. Like, you can turn left and right. It doesn't actually make any bad noises. It doesn't do anything it shouldn't be doing. The brakes are pretty good. And you did say Sam wants to come back, and he wants to do a few more little things, doesn't he?
Yeah, correct. The next thing we're going to look at is paint.
Oh, cool. So are you going to do a respray or just a bit of a tidy up of the original paint?
The roof on the car, the bonnet top and the boot top are all a bit sun damaged and faded, so we'll probably carefully mask it off and we'll paint to the body lines and respray the top only, matching the original colour perfectly so you can't tell.
And that's something you can only do if the paint is already quite good.
Correct,
right?
yeah. The paint itself is sound, it's just badly faded from sun damage.
That's it for today's episode. Thank you so much for watching. Next week we're going to be looking at a beautiful 1968 fastback. Make sure you subscribe and hit below to check out the website. See you next week.
Thanks, Chris.